Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Renault. I'm the Traffic Records Coordinator at GOHS. So I work with all of the data grants and all of the data stuff. I'm the person to come to. So if you have questions about resources or where you can get a certain chart or numbers for certain things, please feel free to reach out. I can definitely link you with the right people. Right, so with your problem ID, this is really saying what your problem is. What is the highway safety issue at hand? Without a problem ID, you don't have a grant. You don't have something you need to fix. Your problem ID should contain all of the data that you need for your grant. So if you're proving that there are crashes in a certain locale, you need to have that in your problem ID. So when you go to this form, you'll click on the Manage Application Project Info. A pop-up will come up and it'll give you about 4,000 characters. That's for all of the sections. So when that text box pops up, it doesn't warn you. It also will not warn you when you get over 4,000 characters, but there will be another box that comes up automatically. So just to give you a heads up, that can be a little bit confusing. So what is the purpose of the problem ID? The purpose of the problem identification is to determine where to best utilize resources to decrease traffic safety fatalities and injuries. So when we're saying that, we mean that the resources should be allocated to the projects that need them most. It includes the process of analyzing data and other pertinent information to isolate specific facts about traffic crashes. Right, so the statement should provide a detailed description for all of the defined geographic area and jurisdiction. It should include 5 consecutive years of the most recent data for local, state, and national if needed, depending on your grant, as well as local demographic information. Use the problem ID worksheet within the RFP, as well as the GOHS website for most recent data. So when you're looking at that problem ID sheet, when you did that little scan, it should be on there. You should have that available to you. Within that worksheet, you will be looking first at the who, what, when, where, and why. So the who, it can be children, older adults, maybe it's a certain group, maybe it is a certain area, schools, for example, school areas. The what is the problem? This is where you would explain what the data shows to you. So are younger drivers getting killed in a certain area, for example? Are we seeing higher fatality rates with motorcycle drivers in a certain locale? So we just need to be very clear about who it's happening to, what the issue is. Now, when that can be a factor, maybe when schools are getting out or in the evening, we're seeing a lot of DUIs at a certain hour. The when can be important. That includes, nights, weekends, certain seasons. The more data you have, the better your problem ID will be. And then why are these things occurring? So we want to identify that with sources of data. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Sorry guys, I'm using a few notes on my phone here. All right. So I work in the data world. This is my bread and butter. This is kind of like the gospel to data folks. It's timeliness, accuracy, completeness, uniformity, integration, and accessibility. And really, when we talk about your goals in your grant to be SMART goals, we're thinking measurable, actionable, realistic, which one am I forgetting right now? Timely. Specific, sorry, I forgot the S. Like, there's one I'm missing right now. So this data should reflect that, and how you get to a goal that reflects all of the SMART goals is using the data that is in a timely manner. So we're trying to look at the most recent data, accurate data, make sure your sources, and I'll get into the sources next, but make sure your sources have current data that is uniform with each other, We want complete data. We don't want things missing. Think crash reports. We work hard to avoid incomplete reporting, and so you would want to have complete data in your grant. And then we get into integration and accessibility. Admittedly, that's kind of on our end, but you should have that data available in your document attachments. I won't get too deep into the data part because I could go on forever. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at all. But just keep this in mind that your data, it should be complete, accurate, and the most recent data. So you're probably wondering, where would you get that from? Well, the first place, of course, is our GOHS website. It has everything. It has our traffic data fact sheets. So if you're, for example, a motorcycle grant, we have a motorcycle fact sheet. We have it for multiple years. Your data is right there. You don't really even have to look for it. It's on the site. You just click, read through it, and you would have all of your motorcycle data. We have that for risky driving, distracted driving. We have it for young drivers, older drivers. We've just come out with some rule data. So those are really good resources when you're writing your grant and your problem ID. And there are assessments on there as well as multiple publications. Our SHSP is on there, our highway safety plan, so you can use all of those resources, and we're happy to guide you along if you need assistance. I did want to mention that the Department of Driver Services, they have a reports page, so they have some DUI data, distracted, trying to remember, but they have a few. They have driver reports, commercial data as well, if that's relevant to your grant. Of course, GEARS and GDOT, crash reports, those will be great resources. And these are all accessible. You don't really need any special permissions. Some of them you may, but they're accessible through the agencies. University research groups can be helpful. We work a lot with TestReg at UGA. They have great data. Hospitals and ERs, we have OASIS and GEMSIS. They are accessible tools for the public. And you can actually make your own charts, create tables, maps using these tools. They have trainings on how to do it. So if you need those to prove your data, that is available. There's also surveys and assessments you can look up. Of course, NHTSA is always a resource. They have FARS for data. They came out with a new tool, the Fatality and Injury Reporting System tool. That's a good mapping tool, I would say. And of course, they have NHTSA publications all the time. And then lastly, if you do need guidance and everything I just said kind of went over your head, feel free to reach out. I put my email up there. Just I work with all of the data for the agency. I'm happy to help in any way I can. So if you have a question, like I don't know how to get this, answer this question for my county, please reach out. We're happy to help. We all have the same goals here. So we want to reduce fatalities. We want to see your grant successful. So happy to help you if you need to get any data or maps. I can guide you in the right direction or the right person to talk to. So last thing here for my little part with problem ID is document attachment. Mind you, this is not just for problem ID. You will use the document attachment feature to attach all of your documentation for your grant. So of course, those graphs and all those data sheets that you produce, you can attach them with the document attachment, but you can also do that for other sections, your letters of support, your procurement policy, all of that. So